keep moving forward, keep striving, and you're going to be great.
Look, I got to say this publicly for the first time ever, because it's been a little bit of a secret. I don't know when this is going to air.
The time is now. Welcome, everybody, to the Time Is Now podcast. Thank God we could be here together. I'm Dr. Slava Shut. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, CEO, and the host of this show. I love to get into the head of entrepreneurs, see what makes them tick, what made them successful. We want to get to know people in all walks of life. So today we have a special guest today with us. I'm very excited to introduce Samuel Smith, the small business surgeon, and the true definition of a comeback. After building 2 7-figure companies, then later completely losing them and himself, he was able to regain control of his business and his life to bounce back and to be better than ever. Let's get into it.
Man, who writes this? Who writes these introductions? That was so nice. Thank you so much.
This is an honor and a pleasure. You know, you've just to have like a brief introduction about you. Please tell us about who you are and like the things that you're about. We want to get to know you, get inside your head. What makes you tick? What makes you successful? Your trials, your tribulations. Let us know about you, Doc.
Absolutely, pal. Man, thank you first off for bringing me on, Dr. Salva. What a tremendous introduction. My name's Samuel Smith. I am the small business surgeon. And I don't know how much of my story you want to know, but about 5, almost 6 years ago now, I was retired in my mid-30s, and I was doing really, really well for myself, and I let alcohol and partying kind of get in the way of what was going on with business, and I lost everything. Lost the money, lost the cars, lost the businesses, lost the marriage, like the lot. And so now I have a lot of it all back in a completely different arena, in different markets, doing a different thing. But the old work hard and focus and, write down the things you want to accomplish and go out and get them absolutely worked for me. But, I had to get over the alcoholism first. I'm coming up 5.5 years sober. How I dealt with the pressure was oftentimes drinking. I was always drinking. And so now I've got a few guys that I've taken under my wing. I do a little sobriety counseling. I've just recently completed 75 hard. I've lost about 60 pounds, not recently, but over the last few years, I've gone from obese to now in the best shape of my life. And I'm just doing stuff that everybody can do. It's a matter of deciding what you want to do and going out and getting it and doing it. So man, I'm an open book, my friend. If you've any questions at all, anything you want to know, just
listen.
We can wrap on that.
I want to dive into something that everybody needs to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Addiction is a monster. It's a huge monster. It affects millions of people. It's ruined lives. Many people have not recovered. They have not gone in a good direction. Can you tell us about some of the turning points, some of the dark moments? There's a decision that has to be made. In business, we talk about decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decisions is what leads you to habits. Habits lead you to identity. Identity leads to better habits and better decisions and makes you achieve goals.
Right, for sure.
Somewhere in there, you said, you know what? Enough is enough, right? Obviously so I want to know the dark moments and where the turns start to happen, because somebody out there is listening that has a problem, right?
Right on. Yeah.
So I want to know that person's listening to you right now, because you sound like a person that is helping others. You're giving back. Mm-hmm. You're not just getting sober. You're helping others, which is a true sign of success. So tell us about the dark moments and the turning points and some of the ways somebody listening that may have a problem that may turn the ship around.
Dark moments. Boy, there's a lot of them, you name it, it probably happened. at some point in there. You know, I was in internet marketing and advertising, and money flowed incredibly freely. And so every kind of thing you wanted was available. And so we partook, as most guys would. And, you know, really the turning point for me was we had been, I had just lost my company. It was going through a major crash, and my sister's wedding was happening, and so we had flown out to England to see her and to stay there for a couple of weeks. And I was looking back. I was looking back through the pictures afterwards, and I realized there wasn't one picture in 2 weeks where I wasn't glassy eyed, you know, because it's a wedding. Yeah, we were all drinking all the time. It was what it was. And so 2 weeks of drinking and 2 weeks of being hungover, and you know, by that time the family knew that there were serious business issues, and they knew there was infidelity and all that good stuff that goes on when you're completely unchecked. And so the family knew there was issues. And the turning point for me, the real turning point, was we were leaving from my parents' house to fly back to America, and it was 5:15 in the morning, and my mother, she was 63 at the time, she stood on her tiptoes and she whispered in my ear, and this is a direct quote, so you may have to edit this, but she whispered in my ear, "Sort your fucking life out." Now, I don't know if your mum's ever swore at you, but mine hadn't swore at me like that before, you know. She'd not ever sworn at me softly like that. Just a straight up, wow, that hurt, man. It hurt. And so I drove to the airport. I was all angry and shit. I was like, what does she mean? You know, my life's fine. It's just a hiccup. But it wasn't. It was the crash. And so I got on the plane at probably about 10:30 in the morning and ordered a double Jack and Coke. And she starts to bring it. And I said, you know what? Let me just get the Coke. And I ended up with a Diet Coke. And by the time I got back to Texas, I realized it'd been a day since I'd had a drink. I thought, man, I wonder if I could not drink tomorrow. And, you know, I woke up without a hangover for the first time in a long time. I thought, man, I wonder if I could not drink today. And so I made it a little bet with myself. So let me just make it to the end of the day without having a drink. Because as I started to think, raised around alcohol and raised in the culture of alcohol, there hadn't really been a weekend since I was about 17 that I hadn't been out and got drunk, or at least had some alcohol. And, you know, in blue collar Northern England, it's a measure of masculinity as to how much you can drink before you fall down, you know? So, yeah. Of course, I went whole hog at that. But man, I quit drinking one day at a time, one decision at a time. And I never said, I'm not going to drink again. So I'll have a drink when I can control it. And, you know, until now, that's, I've tried it twice and had very bad reactions to it both times. And I said, you know what, that's enough there. I'll hang that up. And yeah, with the exception of a couple of sips to try it, it's 5.5 years of completely sober. And what it's done is it's changed my body, my physique, my energy levels, but it's changed my friend groups. It's changed the activities I do. It's changed my evenings. You know, I'm more likely to be fine walking or going to the gym or practicing a musical instrument or something, or reading or writing than I am going to the pub and drinking. So it's really changed every single aspect of how I was living my life, just stopping drinking alcohol.
Tell me about the control. What does it mean to you to now have control over that monster?
Man, I just had to stop drinking. So I stopped in June of 2017. And prior to this, I forget the date, but roughly February or March of 2017, one of my friends, his long-term partner, they weren't married, but they may as well have been. They've been together for probably about 15 years. She was in her mid-40s, and I was the friend that got the call to help turn her and to help change her clothes during the end of her life as she was dying from alcoholism. And I got to watch this beautiful young-ish lady swell up and turn yellow and go through all this pain. And I watched the liver failure, and it was unstoppable. And, you know, that it was such a terrible situation. And it sounds terrible of me to even refer to it as what I'm going to, but that was a huge anchor for me keeping control, being able to shut my eyes and see her face and go, oof. And this was somebody that, like, she's a very close friend of mine's partner, Rick. And I had known him for 10 or 15 years, and watching somebody degrade and knowing that she was only, I think, 7, 8, 9 years older than me, however much older it was. And she'd been a part of the group, and that was my future. And again, I wish not to speak ill of Mel, but it was shutting my eyes and seeing her face and being like, wow, if you keep going, this is where you're going. It will fucking kill you. And so staying on course between Mel and my mom, staying on course was one day at a time. It was one day at a time. At first I'm going for a week. Right. Can I have and then it was 10 days, and then it was 2 weeks. And I got this little gaming app with coins on it. And every few days you get another coin and another coin and another coin. And I just kept going. But I got the strength to do it from the terror of seeing, you know, my dying friend. Like, I know it's a little bit morbid to go there, but it was either you control this right now, or that's what you're going to become. And they say everything in life is hard. You just got to pick your hard. And being an alcoholic, the older you get, is really hard. Being sober, the younger you are, is really hard. Yeah. But as you're older, being sober becomes easier, and being an alcoholic becomes harder. And so you've just got to pick which hard you want to do. And
speaking of hard, the man who's completed 75 hard, can you tell everybody what 75 hard is, in case they don't know? Tell us about the 75 hard journey. How was it for you? And, you know, the process.
So 75 Hard is a program. It's a mental strength program that will also physically develop you as well. And you have to do a certain number of tasks. You have to do 2 workouts a day, both for 45 minutes. One of them must be outside. Now, being in Texas, I did most all of mine outside. I think maybe over the 75 days, I did like 5 indoor workouts, all the rest of them outside. I love being outside. You have to drink a gallon of water every day. You have to read a minimum of 10 pages of a book every day. And you have to take a selfie progress picture every single day. You have to stick to a diet. It doesn't matter what diet, just you have to stick to it. No treats, no sweet chocolate, no candy, none of that stuff. And no alcohol, which of course didn't seem like a box for me to check because I don't drink anyway. So it sounds very easy, and doing it one day is easy, and doing it 2 days is easy, but doing it 75 days in a row, I failed at it 8 or 9 times. I think this was my 9th attempt. And I'm doing it right now because I enjoyed doing it. And then after I was done, I'm like, well, what do I do? And, you know, I enjoyed the routine of doing it. I didn't want to step up levels. There's a few different levels in the Live Hard program. I thought maybe I'll tackle those later this year, but I just did 75 hard again. For me, what I got out of it was, you know, as well as I got down to my high school weight, which shocked me. I'm about 3 pounds above it right now, which again, at 42 is just incredible. But what it did for me more was like understanding that I can commit to something and follow through. I can finish this. Man, the worst day was a day where we'd had some last minute travel plans change, so we couldn't get a flight. So I had to drive to Iowa, and I had to get up and work out before I hit the road. And then when I got to Iowa, I had to work out again when I got there. Like that was a 22-hour day, 23 hour. It was brutal. And then be on set the next day working with clients. I mean, it was, but I did it, and it taught me that I can do anything. But critically, it taught me that if you want to be in the best shape of your life, if you want the best mental health of your life, it's doing tiny little repeated actions over and over, day in, day out, and being consistent and just taking a little step towards your goals every day. You know, the ripped guy on the beach didn't get there in an afternoon.
Right.
It probably took him 5 or 6 years. The fat guy didn't get fat overnight. It took 5 or 6 years to get fat. It's probably going to take you a year or two to get it off and get in shape. But you can go wherever you want if you just take a small step in that particular direction every single day. That's probably what 75 hard taught me the most.
That's incredible. And that's a great journey. So, you know, there's a lot of researchers that say, you know, I'm a science guy. I talk to a lot of doctors, a lot of researchers, psychologists, doctors of all sorts. You know, if you get better in some way, even 1% a day, you know, one small step towards a habit every single day, those add up and they add up and add up. Yeah. And those habits that you set up and progressively work through and improve, you can accomplish most anything. Just like a bad habit, good habits are established with small steps that add up.
Yeah.
They're much more effective than one big step and then decline. Step, decline.
Well, it's like a savings account. You know, how many of you say I'll put aside some money when I've got $1,000? I'll put $1,000 in savings. That's not how you do it. You put $20 in every time. Just $20, $20, and before you know it, you've passed 1,000. Where the guy over there is still waiting for his $1,000 check and has no savings. It's the same. Like, momentum builds cumulatively, but it builds both forwards and backwards. Builds in positive actions and it builds in negative actions. If you're not pulling your finger out your ass, if you're not pulling your weight, then that will negatively compound. You'll start sliding further and further and further back too. So be aware of how you're spending your time and be intentional. Because if you write it down and you commit to it, you plan it and you take action, you can do anything, like absolutely anything.
You're a great example of that, of coming out of darkness into light. It challenges to rising up, you know. So in your podcast, you talk about so many things that entrepreneurs do. And you zero in on mistakes that many entrepreneurs make. Can you tell us about some of the big mistakes and how a new entrepreneur could fix them?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so give me an example of a business. Let's pretend you're an entrepreneur. What are you selling?
Life insurance.
Okay. Who's your target audience? Who are you going to try and sell life insurance to?
Everybody. Anybody who is dependent upon somebody else. If somebody else, somebody depending upon them for, let's say, an income or to help them financially, they need life insurance.
Okay, so everybody is your customer.
Yes.
That's the first mistake the majority of business owners make.
Right. So fix it.
That's it. So fix it. So what you have to do initially owning a business is there's zero business to begin with. There's nothing there, blank sheet of paper. So you have to create anyway. So why not create something perfect? Why not create something as close to what you want to do with your life as you can already get? Okay, so say my ideal career is an insurance agent and I sell life insurance and I want to sell it to anybody that needs life insurance. Do I really though? I want to sell it to customers that have the ability to buy life insurance. I want to sell it to customers that are interested in buying life insurance and have a need for life insurance. I want to sell it to customers that know me, like me, and trust me and want to bring their insurance needs to me. Who do I want to sell it to? Is it somebody like when I sell insurance, I'm going to have a relationship with that customer. Yep. I'm going to have to interact with them. I'm going to have to follow up with them several times a year. What does that person look like on my calendar? Do I want to talk to them? Right? Let's jump to real estate for a second. Okay. This is a super simple one. Females generally buy real estate based on emotion. Males generally buy real estate based on data. Now, again, generalizations. We talk at 80-20 split. You can argue all you want, but it's a generalization. Male minds are better off selling real estate to male buyers. Because for the majority of men, when they look at a transaction, they see the spreadsheet, they see the numbers, they see the profit and loss. The majority of women, when they look at the real estate, aren't thinking about numbers. They're not thinking about the spreadsheet. They're thinking about building a home. which means they buy an entirely different set of criteria. So if you're somebody that likes selling the way something feels, like think of how you're going to be standing in your new kitchen. You could paint it this color and that color. If you like somebody selling, so you may have a style of selling very analytically. I personally love selling analytically. I love data-driven sales because I can show you what's going on here. I can show you how we can fix it, and I can show you the return on investment. Like, I love selling using data because it's the easiest way for me to close. But maybe you like selling based on emotion. So when you look at life insurance, we could say, you know what, maybe I want to sell to males around 45 years old. Maybe they had life insurance in their 20s. Maybe they need a little bit more life insurance. I surely want them to be able to afford life insurance. So even though they need it, is it my job to supply a need, or is it my job to sell something to a client that can afford to buy from me? There has to be a balance between that. But most entrepreneurs will come out the gate and say, anybody that wants to buy insurance. Well, if I'm targeting anybody that wants to buy insurance, I'm not targeting anyone. How can I, because nobody wants to buy insurance for a start, but how can I tailor a life insurance ad to a demographic that will respond to that ad if I don't know who the demographic is? So all of my marketing money, I could be getting less than 10% of the leads I should be getting because I'm blasting marketing instead of laser focused and targeted. I don't know who I want to work with. I need to identify my top 25 dream clients that I'd love to sell insurance to, write them down, go find them on social media, follow them, join their pages, join their groups, learn from them, do business with them. That's just the first mistake. Not knowing who they're trying to sell to is like the biggest mistake most that we correct first out of the gate. I mean,
yeah, finding an identity, finding the avatar is so important because, like you said, you know, there's general and trying to throw something at the wall and let's see what sticks, or going after target clients with specific laser focus attention. And that magnetism, you know, and, you know, I call it God, some people call it universe. There are things that could prove, you know, in a godly way and a science way, that law of attraction of what you think, what you perceive, what, you know, you manifest and get.
You don't have to sell me on that, mate. Yeah. Not one bit.
Yeah,
not one bit.
That's awesome. We appreciate it. So that's an awesome thing. And when you put everything together with, especially with the things that you've gone through and being laser focused on your career and helping businesses and business people find a way to unscrew themselves as mistakes that they constantly make and stumble over in business, to get them guided in a good direction.
Yeah, I mean, what I do now is I help people just dial it in. Most guys that are making over 7 figures have got there by blood, sweat, and tears. And I specialize in media and marketing, and I own a media company, and we figured that selling videos wasn't really serving entrepreneurs. And so I came up with a hybrid system where we take videographers on site and we actually train their own in-house media teams. So they may give me 2 or 3 employees that they say, right, these are the ones we want to put in these positions. And we train them to operate the cameras. We train them to do the editing. We train them to write the storylines and the likable, attractive characters and stuff. And then we leave them with like a content plan for their marketing team. And man, because hiring like professional videographers is quite expensive, and it really should be, for a business owner now, it really should be an in-house team that's providing the majority of your content. Now, you would go to a specialty videographer if you were putting a TV commercial together, something higher end like that, but your day to day, your TikToks, your YouTubes, your Instagrams, your Reels, all of it should be done in-house. And my niche is teaching people to build those internal media teams and teaching them to make and produce the content.
I'm happy to hear that I'm on the ball. I have a great team. They work hard, and we have all this creative juices that we all put in one pot, and we make a jambalaya of creativity. And it's amazing what they come up with now. It's cool that they get super excited, with their ideas and stuff. It's not just Dr. Slava and his vision, but it's a team vision. And we talk about things, and you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of business out there, and everything, everybody has to have a GDP,
Yeah.
have a, gross domestic product, but having things in-house really helps you on a day-to-day basis. And like you said, unless you're doing something big, it's fantastic to have all these little component pieces all in and reviewing it every day.
I mean, that's what we do. I mean, I've built out SOPs for YouTube channels, for podcasts, for, building and launching those. I mean, there's just so many different things that a media department could be deficient in. But that varies from industry to industry. So some people are going to want more stuff for TikTok and Instagram and less stuff for YouTube. And some people want more longer, detailed, more documentary style stuff. We just did one for I had a client that was a classic car dealership. We just reworked their YouTube channel for them and helped them to set up a documentary style filmmaking stuff. And they're getting anywhere within the first week, they're getting 10 to 15,000 views per video now on their channel. So I'm super pleased with how that one turned out.
That's incredible. So our next segment, we're going to play a little game. I always like to have fun with our guests. We have a new game. It's called Don't Laugh at Dad. Now, you're a father, right?
Yes, sir. I got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. Both of them want to be podcasters and YouTube guys. Imagine that.
They're well on their way. I mean,
yeah,
right there. So I'm sure you've told your kids a slew of, dad jokes, and they probably laugh at you and, make fun of you. I know my kids do. I even regurgitate some of the jokes that I've heard, and my kids tend to laugh. And now that I'm a father, I got to make dad jokes. It's part of DNA,
I've been practicing for this moment. I think I've been storing dad jokes for the last 22 years, ever since I thought about having a kid. You might be in trouble.
You're in luck. I'd like to hear so with the audience. I think the people who are gonna email in and call. I think this is gonna be a big hit right here. So
okay,
we're gonna go toe to toe. My best dad jokes against yours, and whoever makes the other laugh first loses. Are you ready?
The guy who laughs first loses.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know this is going to be a good one. I mean, we're going toe to toe. It's like Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali right here. Okay?
You made me laugh. You won. Okay, let's go. Shoot it out.
When does a joke become a dad joke?
I don't know.
When it becomes a parent.
Oh, that was not funny. What'd you call a one-eyed dinosaur?
What?
Do you think he saw us?
All right. I'm on the ropes right now.
Okay. Do you want another one then?
So
or it should be your turn now.
My turn. I'm going to jab back.
Let's go.
The past, the present, and the future walked into a bar. It was tense.
Mate, you couldn't pull a rotten tooth out of a dead horse's head with that joke. It was terrible. Goodness me.
Staff is fired. That's it. All the writers, we're getting rid of everybody. I can't, I'm being jabbed up right here. Uppercuts, everything. Give me another one.
Do you know the best time to go to the dentist?
When?
It's 2:30.
All right. All right. I'm going to give it one more shot. Okay. I have something good here. This is going to be.
Okay. Top shelf it.
You might cry here. I mean,
okay.
You may not recover your face after this one.
Okay.
All right. I'm reading a novel where the main character has strained the muscles around his spine. That's his backstory.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's so bad. Man, I went to a job interview the other day and they asked if I could perform under pressure. I said, under pressure, whip out a piano, mate. I'll knock out Bohemian Rhapsody real quick for you.
Nice.
you must have more. I've got loads. I've been.
Okay. I have one more. Did you
Okay.
hear the one about the kid who started a business tying shoelaces on a playground? It was not for profit.
That's funny. I'll give you that one.
All
Not for
right.
profit.
All right. I got one in. Obviously, I lost the title. I'm on the ground. I'm getting a standing 8 count. It was brutal. It was harsh. I'm gonna have to go back to my team and say we got to do some training again. I mean, but that was pretty good, man. Yeah, right off the top of your head too. Did you write
I,
these down?
I wrote a couple of them down, but they're all off the top of my head because
Very nice.
I've got kids. There's just one more I wanted. There was a news article came in. There was a crash between a cement truck and a prison van, and currently police are combing the area looking for 6 hardened criminals. That's the best I can do.
No, that was cute. That was cute. You know what the good thing about what we just did?
What's that?
There was no curse words. We could play this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah, I love dad jokes.
it was so bad. It was so good.
Like, what'd you call a guy with a shovel on his head?
What?
Doug.
Doug.
Like, you can just get your kids with them. Dude, I almost got arrested the other day. I was illegally downloading an encyclopedia. I said to the detective, I said, wait, I can explain everything.
Nice. That's good. I like that. That's sharp, man. You're pretty creative. Listen, the next time.
No, I just hear it from my kids.
I know who I'm calling.
I've got little just terrors of kids. They terrorize me with jokes and they think it's the funniest thing.
Do they come home with this?
They come home with some of them. Like, what's brown and sticky? A stick. And then I always top that. I go, well, what's brown and rhymes with Snoop? And they go, poop. And I say, no, it's Dr. Dre.
That's good too.
I love that. It's one of my favorites.
That works pretty well here in LA. That's where they live. So that's real good.
I'm a just massive Dr. Dre fan. I was the only kid in England playing gangster rap at freaking 13 years old.
Their story is incredible. I mean,
I know.
Did you watch the movie?
No. I've watched a bunch of documentaries on them.
The NWA movie is pretty good. It's I thought I'm a rap fan when I was a kid before the religious days, and it was I loved NWA and Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and everybody who came out at that time. The storyline is pretty good. It's amazing what they went through and how they went through and the struggles. It's a really interesting entrepreneurial journey, to be honest with you. They came out with a bunch of kids. Some of them were gangsters and in a bad neighborhood. They got together. They made something revolutionary, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Already in the fame and the people they were associated with, problems. There's the darkness. There's the bad stuff that happens. They fall apart, reinvent themselves, come back together. They're like death of Eazy-E, but these other guys come together. They're legends. I mean, the journey that this went through, it's pretty remarkable. It's a great entrepreneurial journey type movie in a really weird way.
But that's the funny thing, though. That music, it wasn't just for black kids. It was like a real mainstream crossover that every kid listened to it. Like, just it was the soundtrack to, and again, as corny as this sounds, it really was a soundtrack to an entire generation. And I, for one, loved listening to it. So yeah,
I have a lot of memories. I'll be honest with you. I don't do a lot of cussing. I'm a religious guy now, but when it comes on and I am there somewhere, I will, I don't know where the lyrics come from. I must have listened to it. I don't know.
They're just up there, aren't they?
They're in there somewhere, and they come out of my behind, and I'm like, I could start rapping, and it's pretty amazing. Although I have no rapping talent, you start playing the sounds, and I might start laying down some lyrics.
Yeah. Woke up quick at about noon. Thought I had to be in Compton soon.
Exactly. So where can we find you, Sam? Tell us, plug yourself right now. And I want, you have a bunch of business and I want a lot of people to follow you. Where can we find you? Plug yourself right now and give us the whole lowdown, the 411, as the kids say. Give us the whole thing.
I love that. Thank you, man. You can find me everywhere, just at Small Business Surgeon. I am normally on Facebook and Instagram the most. Smallbusinesssurgeon.com. You can find the podcast on Spotify, on iTunes. It's on RSS, so it's propagated like a whole bunch of places. Just crossed 30,000 downloads here recently, so it's starting to grow nicely. And yeah, if I can help your business at all, I do fly all over the country doing it. I'd love to have a chat with you about how we can build your own internal media team and get you a little bit more revenue coming in and get you a little bit more known, like, and trusted on the internet. So yeah, just find out more at smallbusinesssurgeon.com.
Amazing. Can you give us some last bits of wisdom, your sort of your outro, and give us a nugget, something that they could stick and that'll break down walls and barriers of entrepreneurship?
Yeah. You can do whatever you want. The key to doing whatever you want and having whatever you want is first creating it in your imagination. Secondly, writing it down. And thirdly, committing to do it. And if you take one small step towards it every day, you can have absolutely anything you want.
Thank you.
That's the best wisdom I've got for you.
That's amazing. So I want everybody to know, whether you're going through a dark time or not, anything is possible. You could do, as Dr. Sam just said, you could be whatever you want, how you want. You have to put in the effort. If you're going through hard times, there will be good times. This too shall pass. Keep moving forward, keep striving, and you're going to be great.
Look, I got to say this publicly for the first time ever, because it's been a little bit of a secret. I don't know when this is going to air. But for those of you that think you can't do this, right? I've gone from an obese alcoholic 5.5 years ago to in the best shape of my life, net worth over 7 figures, and dating a former Maxim cover model. So
not too shabby, not too shabby.
I just wrote it down and I said, right, this is what I'm going to do. And that happened. So everybody thinks it's a made up story. It's not. You're welcome to come over to the house and hang out.
Listen, I'm sure a few of the fans will probably take you up on that. They'd love to get a whole room full of Maxim models, and
it's just the one.
It'd be exactly like the NWA movie. There's going to be a lot of partying going on, and
nope.
And bottles.
You know the funny thing, one of the model was I manifested this woman. I wrote down everything I wanted. It took about 9 months for a universe to deliver her. Model was not on there, but sober was, and she's sober too. It's a good thing. She has had a little alcohol, a few drugs in the past, and she's sober too. So it's a great new chapter for us both. I'm really pleased that she's around.
Bravo! You are an inspiration to us all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. You are amazing. It's our pleasure to spend time with you today. Thank you for your gracious time and things that you helped us with your nuggets and helping businesses. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me, sir. I really appreciate you, Dr. Salva. Thank you. And hopefully we'll get to run this back one day on the Small Business Surgeon podcast, and I'll be the one to pick your brain.
Absolutely. So
all right.
Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you for listening to The Time Is Now. And remember to tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. and send your questions to Dr. Slava Shut on Twitter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.